So now we have the interior of the hull done, we can move on to the outside, and we're just going to fit the parts for the keel and the props. So we'll go ahead and do that. The first part is the actual keel frame itself. And that fits in this long slot. We're just going to glue that in with some extra thin. And then we have the A-frame support that goes underneath and holds that in position. And again, we're going to glue that in with some extra thin. The next part is the rudder, and that sits in a hole in the back of the hull and just underneath the keel frame. And later on we'll fit the prop shaft and the prop, which will just slide in between the parts we've already fitted here. With the lower part of the hull and the keel done, we can move on to the top deck. And that simply fits on top. We can line up the edges to ensure it's fit. And then it can be secured in place with a bit of extra thin. And just do that at key points around the hull until it's firmly in place. We can go around the whole of the outline and glue it into place. And that's essentially the boat done. As we've already painted the figures that go inside it, we painted the guns and all the other little bits and pieces. So I'm going to go off camera and finish painting the model. I'm going to paint it by hand. Apply the decals. And I'll be back when that's done. We can then move on to finishing the final little bits of the build. Okay, so we're back after painting. As you can see, the hull's completely painted up with the red anti-foul underneath. And the first part we're going to be fitting is the prop shaft and the prop. And that just simply slides underneath and glued into place with some super glue. And that's firmly in place now. So we can turn it over and start on the inside parts. First part is the hatch cover for the engine, but that's not glued into place, it just sits on top. As I said before, I've modified it so that half of it is open. So we'll put that to one side for the time being. And we'll go on to the next part, which is going to be the life preservers that are fitted at the back of the hull. And again, once they're in position, just a little bit of super glue, just to hold them in place. They're a little bit tricky to get into position. And then it's just a repeat process for the other side. All in all, these final bits took less than an hour to complete. It always seems that the final stages of any build seem to go really quickly. So that's just secured in place with some super glue. And this is the prop and prop shaft that I did earlier. Before my camera started working again. And I'm just going to go ahead now, and after all these bits are fitted, as it's purely just putting them into place and securing with super glue. Once everything's in place, as you can see here, there's a few rigging lines to go on, and the support boat can be fitted as well. And that will bring us to the end of the project. So here's some pictures of the finished product before the rigging goes on. There's only 3 rigging lines that need to go on, one to the stern, one to the bow that lead to the support boat, and one to the capture ring that's held by the diver in the support boat. So I'll go ahead and do them, and then show you some pictures. I'm using some ordinary tapestry yarn in a sort of rope colour for the rigging lines, which I think looks really good. Overall, it was a very enjoyable build, quite an easy build, and went together really well in the end. As you can see here, once the rigging lines are in place, you can see the detail of the display. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.